Thank you. All righty. Well, welcome everyone to the Conejo Open Space Conservation Agency meeting of September 14th, 2016. I would like you all to join me in the salute to the flag, please. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Would you do the roll call, please?
Director Fox?
Here.
Vice Chair Gibson?
Yes, ma'am.
Director Jones? Absent. Director Bill de la Pena? Absent. And Chair Skay?
Present. And we are expecting Director Jones a bit late, and Director Bill de la Pena is expected imminently. We'll go I don't have any cards for just plain public comments. So we'll go on to 4A, which is presentations and announcements. I do have a card for 4A. Steve Bacharach.
Okay, hello. I am the chairman of the Conejo Open Space Trails Advisory Committee, so I'm going to give a brief report on the 5 items that are listed there. First of all, there's the Open Space Challenge. It ran between March 1st and May 31st as indicated on the agenda. This was the 4th annual challenge. It's basically to raise awareness of trails within our community amongst people who use them often or seldomly. We've had more participants every year. This year there were 55 participants with 35 people finishing all 10 segments in the given amount of time, and they're sponsors and we give out prizes and whatnot. That's the first item. Second item, spring and annual trail work days. So let's see, we had one in March. Usually the spring ones are a little smaller than the fall ones. I believe it was maybe around 100 volunteers. I don't recall actually about the spring one. Is that details that you want to know about as far as location?
Sure.
Okay. Can you help me out here a little bit? I don't remember where spring was. Well, I don't know which trail it was on. I mean,
that's okay. You can just go ahead with
your
presentation.
All right, whatever. I wasn't sure you were that interested. October, that's the bigger one. That'll be a new trail on the Western Plateau area below Baxter. So it's a trail segment that a lot of people on the committee are very excited to have as a connector. Trails Education Days, April 18th to 22nd. That's for youth education. I believe we're doing 4th graders now from around CVUSD. It's still extremely popular to the point where we have to turn a lot of private schools away. So it's a very popular program that has proven to be very valuable. My kids have gone through it. They loved it. Everybody seems to. Then there's National Trails Day Geocaching Hike, which is another sort of raising awareness sort of event. Someone not on our committee, Steve Clark, he does this every year. I believe we had a better turnout than last year, maybe a dozen people. But geocaching is a very popular activity. It's sort of like, pre-Pokemon Go, and that gets bigger each year. And then finally, National Public Land Day, public outreach. That'll be September 24th. Another idea of raising awareness, trying to get the word out to people in the community about the importance of public lands, and that will be in the Lang Ranch area in eastern Thousand Oaks at the end of Lang Ranch Parkway. So.
Very good. Thank you very much, Steve. Any questions of Mr. Bacharach? Yes.
Yeah.
Director Bill de la Pena.
Thank you for the report. I just arrived, but you mentioned private schools not being allowed to participate, and I've brought this up numerous times now because this is so popular. Mm-hmm. Is it possible to come up with some sort of lottery, perhaps? Because the parents of the children in private schools do pay taxes as well.
Right.
And so I was just wondering whether we could offer the benefit in a different way through lottery or maybe through registration process or some sort of, taking a number.
Okay. Well, a couple things. I don't run that program, so I don't know the limitations on it. But I suppose if we could get more volunteers, because we need a variety of different types of volunteers to make it happen, then we could expand it. Barring that, then we would have to find a way to sort of randomly pick from the community. And so that's something we could discuss at our committee as far as trying to find some way that's equitable and doesn't burn bridges that are long established.
To whom would I have to address this particular concern?
Well, I believe staff has heard, and they staff the Caneo, the Trails Advisory Committee meeting, so
Okay.
it would be a topic of discussion.
We would need to discuss it internally, and the program is completely run by volunteers. So that's where we have the issue, is that we don't have enough volunteers to run the program. It's very time intensive for them. So we would have to come up with a new way of recruiting more volunteers and figuring out how to manage it. And the volunteers actually manage the whole program as well. So we would need to talk to them.
Okay.
Short of the city funding internships to paid, not volunteers, but paid people to help run it. I don't know.
Well,
you can
if
expand it
the
too
private
much.
schools, I mean, I know they have very active parent volunteers. If they offer to help with the volunteering, maybe that is something we could come up with. I know that there are private schools in the area that do a lot of community service, from the Mad Attic to Manna to the food share program. I mean, they do a lot for the community, and to exclude them because they're private, to me, would not necessarily be fair.
Well, we can certainly explore other options, and that is a great idea, to involve the parents as volunteers. Perhaps they could be trained to run a similar program or something.
And certainly all are welcome at the annual Trail Work Days too, which is a community-based event.
No, I understand. My wife is a teacher at Carn Conejo, so naturally she's been involved quite recently in public versus private issues with public entities here in the community. And so I know they have an active parent group of parents, as you might be aware of, right? And so maybe reaching out to the parents would be a way to generate more volunteers. That could help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baccarat. Let's see. How about the COSCA Volunteer Corps report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's me. Just want to give a quick update on the Volunteer Corps activity. We've had another busy few months. This is going back to February, actually. So for Trail Watch, we had 291 reports submitted for 441 volunteer hours donated. Trail Patrol, we had 69 reports submitted and 248 volunteer hours donated. And the Adopt a Trail program filed 135 reports for 317 volunteer hours donated. So our volunteers are very active out there and really keeping a close eye on our trails. Thank you.
Excellent. And really, the COSTAC committee and all the volunteers with Trail Watch and everything are just always to be congratulated. We can't give you enough thanks for all you do. We will go on to the consent calendar. This is the minutes of February 10th. Any additions, corrections?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? That passes. Let's go on to 6A, which is the Caneo Open Space Trails Advisory Committee appointments for 2016.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The 4 scheduled COSTAC vacancies were posted on March 2nd. And 13 applications were received during the filing period. Interviews were held on April 14th, and the interview panel provided guidance to the nominations subcommittee. The subcommittee recommendations are as follows. For the members, they are recommending Raymond Mochia and Craig Percy. Both are current incumbents. And Ben Pumphrey and Brian Stark, who are currently alternates. And Ben Pumphrey is in the audience right now. And for the new alternates, they're recommending Gunfer Kilfoyle, Kira Krakowski, Kathleen Perkinson, and Matthew Ward. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about each of these people. So Ray Mochia is a hiker who assists with the open space outreach programs that we have. Craig Percy is the vice chairperson of COSTAC currently, and he enjoys hiking and mountain biking. Ben Pumphrey, who again is in the audience, he's a hiker and is the coordinator and hike leader for CRPD's monthly open space appreciation hikes. So we appreciate that he recently took over that program last year. Brian Stark is a hiker and a mountain biker with professional experience in habitat restoration and land conservation, and he's the executive director of the Ojai Valley Land Conservancy. And then the alternates, Gunther is a hiker and outdoor enthusiast. Kyra is a trail runner and open space volunteer, also a local teacher. Kathleen is a hiker and a founding board member of the Tejon Ranch Conservancy. And Matt Ward is currently a COSTAC alternate, and he just took over coordination for COSCA's Trail Patrol program, which was great because we haven't had somebody consistently coordinating that for about a year, so that's really helpful. So with that, staff recommends that the Board of Directors approve the COSTAC members and alternates as recommended by the nomination subcommittee. Thank you.
Very
I'm
good.
available.
Thank you. Director Gibson.
Yeah, I just had one question because the staff report said recruitment for 3 scheduled COSCA vacancies.
Sorry about that. That was
an error in the report.
That was a typo. I noticed that when I was preparing the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Any action by the board?
Move to approve.
All right. I have a motion. And was that a second, Director Fox? Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Mr. Pumphrey, for being here, too. Appreciate it. Okay. Now the exciting amending the COSCA's Conflict of Interest Code.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In June 2016, the clerk of the Ventura County Board of Supervisors requested that COSCA perform a routine biennial review of its conflict of interest resolution to determine if it needed to be amended. Accordingly, the Thousand Oaks City Clerk reviewed COSCA's Conflict of Interest Code and recommended that, based on current COSCA staffing structure, the assistant planner position be added to the list of designated COSCA officers, officials, and employees, as listed in Exhibit A of the revised resolution in your supplemental packet. So I should have mentioned that at the beginning. Please notice that there's a supplemental packet in front of you, and it's just, there was a minor change to the table in Exhibit A. From the exhibit that was in your packet. We've just added in the number of employees in those positions.
Okay.
And with that, staff recommends that the board approve resolution number 2016-1 as presented in your supplemental packet. And with the board's approval, staff will submit the revised code to the County Board of Supervisors for approval.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, Director Bill Delapenna.
Ms. Mason, did you say you were okay? So you took away associate planner and turned that into assistant planner, or
we added the assistant planner position onto the list. Yes, we didn't actually remove the associate planner position from the list, but as you can see, it says 0 next to the associate planner.
So you added this to the list, but in reality, that position is that filled or not?
The assistant planner did replace the associate position, but
no,
it hasn't been
position
deleted.
is open.
No,
I don't follow you.
It's just, it's there, but in case somebody were to be promoted or something to associate planner, we don't need to remove it from the list. But as it says in there, there's 0 people in that position right now.
So how many persons are now under COSCA? How many staff?
2 city staff plus some small portions of other.
Okay, but that number hasn't changed.
No, that number has not changed. That's correct.
Unfortunately. Okay. I know.
Right.
I know. We're still working on it. Okay, thank you. I'll move approval with that.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Motion passes. Okay. And the next action item is item C, authorization to adjust right-of-way boundaries on the north side of Grande Vista Drive, north of the 101 freeway, approximately 3,500 feet west of Wendy Drive.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you mentioned, this project is on the north side of Grande Vista Drive and the 101 freeway. It is north of the planned right-of-way improvements, including road widening, sidewalk, retaining walls, and V-ditches, and it's approximately 3,500 feet west of Wendy Drive. And you can see it up on your screen there. That's an aerial view of the property. In December of 2014, the Thousand Oaks Planning Commission approved Special Use Permit 2014-70373 to allow a 130-unit assisted living and memory care facility at the west end of Grande Vista Drive. The project is located on a 56-acre property with 8 acres proposed for development and 8 acres proposed for transfer to the city as public open space, subject to conditions of approval. So the property I'm talking about where this project was approved is here. You can see it's a large piece of property. The 8 acres proposed for development are approximately here. Then the remainder of that land is proposed for transfer to the city as public open space. The project is the project site is adjacent to COSCA-owned open space here, and to future open space to the north. This is part of the Seventh-day Adventist property. Grande Vista Drive is required to be widened as part of offsite improvements for the special use permit. A portion of the V-ditch and retaining wall required for the road widening need to extend into approximately 1,400 square feet of COSCA-owned open space. The city and the developer request this area be transferred to the city as right-of-way to remove COSCA from any liability associated with the improvements. The city plans to eventually transfer the Grande Vista right-of-way to the developer for long-term maintenance. In exchange, the city will transfer 5,557 square feet of unneeded and unimproved existing right-of-way to COSCA. And this will result in a net gain of 4,175 square feet of public open space. And this drawing shows this portion is existing open right-of-way that would be transferred to COSCA, and this piece over here shows the area that would be transferred to the city and eventually to the developer as right-of-way. It is city and COSCA policy to locate drainage improvements outside of public open space whenever feasible. The proposed improvements cannot be accommodated in the existing public right-of-way or on another private property. The improvements are necessary to complete the required widening of Grande Vista Drive. The proposed adjustment will result in a net gain of about 1/10 of an acre of open space. And staff recommends that the Board of Directors authorize staff to execute the grant deeds needed for the proposed property transfers. And I'm available for questions.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mason. And we welcome Director Jones. Please, for the record, note that he is present. Any questions of staff? Yes.
I do have a question. Thank you. Given that this was approved last year by the Planning Commission, and that was a final vote, I don't remember exactly whether the approval was contingent upon this arrangement.
It was not.
Okay, and how unusual is it to have something like this come up in the middle of a project as critical as this one?
It's somewhat unusual because this involves the open space, but generally there are tweaks at the end of the development process, once they're doing the final grading plans and the final improvement plans, where they do end up having to adjust boundaries and things like that, because they can't really take into consideration all of the full extent of the improvements all the time when they're designing the projects. They run into, topographical issues and other things. So it's not unheard of that this would happen.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? It does seem, by my calculation, it's at least a 2-to-1, close to 3-to-1 transfer in favor of COSCA.
Correct.
Even though it's not exactly, primo open space, it is,
right.
It is a net gain for COSCA. If there's no other questions, do we have a motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor of the transfer, please say aye. 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 Any opposition? Abstentions? So carried. Okay. And now we're on to information items. Would you like, did you have something, Mr. Friedel?
Well, Shelley gets all the hard work, and I think she was going to let me do this one, right?
Okay.
So I get to do the fun ones.
Please take it away, Mr.
Yeah, Shelley does all the hard stuff, and I get the fun one. The Conejo-Reckon Park District Board of Directors, about 4 years ago, inspired by, I think, the city's seat dedication honorary event in the theaters, created something called the Gratitude Circle about 4 years ago. So it was a way for us to have a location inside our most popular park, Canoe Creek North, and recognize some folks in the community that have done some great work on behalf of parks and recreation. In our third year, our class of inductees, 2 people a year, the park board chose our first COSCA chair, I believe, who is also a mayor at the time, Francis Prince, a founder of COSCA, and our very own chair of COSCA tonight, Rory Skay. And we had a very nice ceremony. We had representatives from the city there in the park district. It was a lovely evening. But since we had done all the work putting together the info, we thought we'd share it with the COSCA folks as well. So it was a really nice thing, and so well deserved to our chair here at COSCA, as well as Francis Prince, who's hopefully watching at home.
If I may comment, it was a lovely and unexpected honor, and especially so because being grouped with Frances, who's been an icon of open space, and as you said, she was one of the instigators for creating COSCA in the first place and an original member. So again, thank you to the Park Board for including me. It was very nice.
Yeah, I'll just want to chime in. I want to congratulate, I don't know how the selection committee handled that, but they could not have picked 2 more deserving individuals to be on that wall. And so, Roy, you've done such a great job for so many years, and as you pointed out, Francis was one of the original architects of COSCA, was on the council when we started to acquire a lot of the open space. Without her vision and leadership, as well as yours, Madam Chairman, I think it's safe to say we would all agree our open space acquisition and maintenance and really everything that goes into that would be years behind where we are today. So congratulations to you and Francis if you're watching at home.
Thank you.
And I echo Director Fox's comments. Congratulations.
Thank you, Claudia. Yes, Director Gibson.
Yeah, speaking as one of the board members for CRPD who's been involved with this, it's really been an honor to be able to recognize people in the community and their contributions both to the park district and to the open space. We've done this now, I think, for 3 years in a row, and it's a very deliberate process to get there. It's not an easy hurdle to make. So I think those individuals that have been recognized, and I think we've taken it to a new level again this year with Francis and Rory being recognized. So
thank you very much. Mr. Fiedel?
I agree. I actually nominated Fran, so I'm very happy about it.
Excellent. Okay. Paradise Falls?
Oh no, now it's getting hard again. So we're going to go back to
Right. Okay, this is just a little informational item. I wanted to bring to the board's attention that Paradise Falls in our beautiful Wildwood Park was featured in the top trips and picks section of Backpacker magazine in March of 2016. And the write-up is entitled Escape to Paradise. As we all know, Paradise Falls is paradise. And it's included on page 28 of your packet.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions? The video, Explore TO, hiking in Thousand Oaks.
Okay, so this is a little treat we have for you. We're going to show you a wonderful video created by the TOTV team featuring hiking in the open space throughout Conejo Valley, including, again, Paradise Falls and Wildwood. Paradise Falls is very popular, and it features lead ranger Bruce Pace. So it's about 5 minutes. We thought you would like to watch it. It should be coming.
stepping out your front door or even out of the office and practically being at the start of a beautiful hiking trail? Well, you have just that in Thousand Oaks. We're surrounded by 15,000 acres of outstanding, breathtaking open space, and it's all managed by COSCA, the Conejo Open Space Conservation Agency. Right now, I'm meeting up with Bruce Pace, the lead park ranger here. He's going to help me navigate these trails and learn more about how we can all enjoy nature right here in Thousand Oaks. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, June. Nice to see you. Welcome to Wildwood Park.
Thank you. Let's go on our adventure today.
I'm ready. This trail is called the Canyon Overlook Trail. This new trail connects Wildwood Park to the Hill Canyon open space.
Wildwood Trails connect with many other open space areas. Conejo Canyons is a popular destination and features a majestic 150-foot steel bridge over Conejo Creek.
This park alone is over 1,700 acres.
Wow.
And we have dozens of miles of trails. We have over 250 different species of plants, as you can see, all the wildflowers that are out right now. Over 60 bird species, 27 different types of mammals, including mule deer, bobcat, coyotes.
With so much to see in Wildwood, why not share your outdoor experience with your favorite four-legged friends? Bring a leash or saddle and enjoy your trail of choice. Just don't wander off, since poison oak does grow wild in these hills. Whether you're a hiker, biker, or equestrian, you'll find a myriad of trails to suit your individual level and skill.
So can we see more of this park?
Yeah, let's go.
Next, Ranger Pace took me to Paradise Falls, a 40-foot plunge that attracts dozens of hikers daily. Nestled between the hills and only a short hike in, it's no wonder this magnificent site is a popular destination.
Paradise Falls here in Wildwood is kind of like the jewel of our open space areas. This is oak wooded riparian area, so it's nice. You get the shade down here, you have the water.
This is so amazing. It's beautiful. I had no idea it existed. Up there I saw a teepee. Can you explain that more? Were there Native Americans living here at one point?
Yeah, not in that teepee.
Not in that teepee.
That teepee is kind of a replica of the Chumash Indians that lived in this area. But yeah, Native Americans have been in the Conejo Valley for over 8,000 years.
Oh,
so
wow.
There's numerous sites throughout Wildwood Park and some of our other open space areas.
So we've only visited a small portion of everything that COSCA maintains. Can you tell us more about other areas?
Sure. Our Los Robles open space is very popular with hiking and mountain biking, and that has some really awesome vistas. It has areas that you can hike up and you can get a nice view of like the Channel Islands on a clear day.
Nice.
Also has a really cool trail called the Los Padres Trail, which has some of the largest and oldest oak trees in the Conejo Valleys.
That's so great. There's so many different types of hikes you can take, and so each time you just do something different, and it's like you're in a whole new place. Bruce, this is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for taking us to Paradise Falls. I'll definitely be back here with my dog.
All right.
Thank you, Bruce.
You're welcome.
A special thank you goes out to COSCA, CRPD, and the City of Thousand Oaks. Without them, we might not have these beautiful sights to enjoy.
TOTV does a really nice job with
Get
their
out into
videos.
nature today and find a trail near you at cosf.org.
And you got it in the brief window of green.
They just had really good timing.
Yeah. That was a real treat. And I assume that will replay on TOTV.
Yes.
Okay.
And only on TOTV?
It's also on YouTube.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, that was fantastic. Shall we go on to Mr. Kuba for a report on ranger operations?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. We've got a few things we're going to talk about, but we've been really busy out in the field this summer. Just the volume of people has been incredible, obviously, with great videos and great articles in Backpacker magazine. It's been pretty dramatic out there, so the Rangers have been pretty busy. But I want to look kind of forward. 2017 is going to be the 40th anniversary of COSCA. So I'm going to kind of go back in time, and we're going to do a little recent ranger activity from long ago. Working in Wildwood with one of the trucks, delivering some picnic benches, probably around probably the early 70s. The Rangers have been checking on the construction of the sewer line that runs through the middle of Wildwood with the riprap gabions that have been put in. The trail construction, carrying railroad ties by hand down the trail to build some nice stairs. The cave construction is actually going really well down in Wildwood. And we are ordering some new uniforms for the Rangers, better safety gear. But what I am looking for the next year is we'd love to collect some photos. If anybody has any old photos of open space, family photos at the falls or anywhere in Wildwood, we'd love to collect those and be able to add that to our archives. So that's a shout out to the public if they want to submit some photos to us. That would be really, really nice. But back to the present. The Rangers have been working hard. This is some of the... We've been working with the sheriff, documenting where we have found homeless situations and going in with the sheriff to help move them out. It's been a good relationship, and things have been going pretty well with it. This is my usual picture of how does it get into open space. I don't know how people have the energy to drag a couch 3 or 4 miles into an open space area, but we do know how the things get out of open space just with some ranger sweat in a truck. If you don't know, we have a bell project program in the open space, and up on some of our more popular mountain bike trails, we have boxes that have small bells in them, and those act as a warning to other mountain bikes and equestrians and hikers, and lets them know that there's a bike coming. It's become almost relied on when you're out hiking, and we think that we're probably hitting 50 to 70% of the bikes are probably belled by now, and that's really turned into a great safe program. It's really cut down on our complaints of user conflict, and I think it's a great program. And it was an Eagle Scout project originally, and then it's now the bells are funded through COSCA and COSA for our foundation. So all the open space bathrooms, the whole access trail, the bathrooms at Wildwood have all been remodeled and have new thrones. It was a lot of work, and we did it in-house and saved quite a bit of money using the skills of the Rangers, and I think it's really, really nice.
And are these low flash?
Yes, yeah.
De rigueur.
And like I was saying at the beginning, the Rangers are doing a lot of just day-to-day work. The picture on the left is one of our seasonal Rangers, and he got into a cholla there, and those gloves are covered with cholla. Those gloves are no good anymore. And then another thing that happens a lot with the Rangers is just one of the things, their duties, when the Wood Creek fences get hit on our property, the Rangers go and clean up the hazardous part of it. They knock out the rebar, take up the fences that are out there, and then it's replaced by a contractor. But I just wanted you to get a little idea of what the Rangers do kind of on a daily basis. It's not always the big glorious projects and such. Another project this summer was bench refurbishment. The whole access trail and Wildwood, all the benches have been redone, getting ready for next year's trail education days and trail work days. And then a little drought update. And this has actually become very depressing. Mm-hmm. The whole access trail especially, we've lost more than a dozen trees in that canyon. And we've had to go in and actually cut those dead trees, the hazardous parts, to the ground. And we leave the branches there. The the nutrient bank that is held in the trees is really, really high. There's a lot of nutrients in the tree. So we don't haul the branches away and we leave them there. And it is kind of unsightly, but it is where the FBI lives, the fungus, bacteria, and insects. So we're providing habitat. The nutrients will eventually get back into the ground, but it's kind of unsightly. And just another point to the public, if you do see a tree that's looks in trouble, please let us know so that we can go out and evaluate it and either make a determination if it's a hazard or if it's something that we can just leave to its own and then just hope that it rains. But we're really, really hurting out there. We have lost hundreds of trees throughout the open space, but the whole access trail is really getting hit hard. And it's really obvious because the trees are so large and so prominent to the trail. It's very, very sad. And I don't have a sunset picture today, but just going back in time again, just to look at the Wildwood Mesa back in the day. So I'm available for questions if you'd like.
Gunsmoke era, it looks like. Wonderful. Very good. Yes, Director Jones.
Yeah, just a couple questions. From the video, what was the name of the trail that connects Hill Canyon to Wildwood Canyon? Was there a name for that?
Canyon Overlook.
Canyon Overlook.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really wondering about oak trees because I have 2 huge ones in my backyard that are not getting any more rain than any these were getting. I guess they must be tapped into some underground water. Is that how they are staying healthy?
Well, water flows underground a little differently than it does on the surface, of course. And in an urban area, you may be getting a little bit of water from the surrounding houses and such. Also, concrete and pavement will keep moisture in the ground, so there's more moisture possibly available to trees in the urban areas.
Mm-hmm. Just seems strange that some oak trees seem to be surviving the drought pretty well, and others, like those, are just dying off. That's a great pity.
Yeah, it really is.
And then on that trail where the whole access trail, many of those oaks were really big, old, mature oaks, and it may be a combination of drought stress and just coupled with beginning senescence and old age, too.
It's possible. We're also seeing a lot of other shrubs go in the area. Toyon and the ceanothus and such are going in that area as well. So whatever water was available to them historically is no longer available.
Yeah. Okay, let's do our rain dance.
Please.
Okay. Any other questions of Mr. Kuba? Well done. Thank you so much. And as always, the rangers work so hard. They're just really the backbone of our open space system. We will go on to board member comments. Any comments from members of the board?
I just have a question.
Yes, Claudia.
I was just wondering for staff if there are any follow-ups with the Dos Ventos HOA and their use of rodenticides, whether we were able to work this out with them.
I believe that city staff contacted the HOA and sent them the information that we have and told them that we discourage the use of the rodenticides.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. If no other comments, we will adjourn. Our next scheduled meeting is November 9th here. Thank you all very much.